But I'm not finished yet. A longsword was pointed at his neck. Jijiksu warned him, if you say another bad word about Mr. Lee, we'll make him die here immediately. Mustache sees this scene. The surface begins to beg for mercy. Behind his back, he took out a sword with poison. However, just as he broke out with killing intent, the stone statue on the table opened instantly and threw herself at him, and I lifted him up into the air like a chicken. The next second, I put it in my mouth without hesitation. The blood on the ground was also licked clean. Do it all, heading back to the original position, as if nothing had happened. The fan also happened to walk down the road at this time. According to the accounting program, it must be the fan who is manipulating the matter, and that was his warning to me. At that moment, I'm afraid even I can't react. Facing the fear of death, let Izuki's body start to tremble. But the fan was unaware of all this. Ask Jijiksu the purpose of coming here this time. He said cautiously, I also want the fan to introduce a book to him. After getting the answer you want, the fan began to search. But then he suddenly thought of the mustache. He reminded Jijiksu that something was wrong with the eyes of the mustache. The only person you can trust is yourself. As soon as this sentence comes out, Jijiksu was instantly shocked. Mister, they cannot say these words for no reason. Is it the loyalty rune of the mustache? Was there a problem? Can write runes for him. It's a wizard who has been enshrined in the family for 100 years. Only he can remove these runes. Did he betray his family? The fan could see that Jijiksu was a little lost. Keep talking. When you have a will of steel, no one can defeat. Then he handed out the book he found. How is steel made? He also said a book, by the way, classic quotes in, you only have one life. Don't gamble for nothing. You have your own mission. After receiving the book, a few snowflakes came to the street in a trance. The book in his hand has become a body. After opening the book, a dazzling light burst out. The surrounding raindrops are instantly solidified. Then a huge eyeball appeared in the sky, staring at him. But he felt there was an enormous surge of energy. These energies altered the structure of his soul, has brought his mental power to an unprecedented peak. Now he finally has a chance to break through the panic level. The satisfaction of being swept away by energy, it made his nose bleed involuntarily. At this moment, he decided, from now on, I will become the fan's loyal slave. Go after. At the entrance of the bookstore, another burly knife-scarred man appeared. And this person, it is one of the top 10 radiant knights on this continent. He is also the nemesis of the previous old man Wild. After learning that the old man had been here for a long time, I went to the bookstore to find out. He used the eye of detection as soon as he came in. In his eyes, this is just an ordinary bookstore. And the owner here, just a young man with no energy fluctuations. The only anomaly is the stone cloth on the table. Therefore, he opened his mouth to ask if the fan was the owner of this place. The fan didn't seem to be very easy to talk to get closer. He kindly addressed. This sound of uncle directly confused Knife Scar. I'm just a little old. But for the sake of the fan being an ordinary person, stay. Subsequently, He asked the fan if he knew the old man whirled. After listening to the fan, I thought he was a customer introduced to me by the old man. So I asked you and Lao Wang are friends. As soon as these words come out, Scar is even more angry. He fought with the old man for hundreds of years. How could they be friends? But he still followed the fan's words and continued, and tentatively asked the fan for the address of the old man. But the fan said that the old man is just his regular customer. I don't know my home address or anything like that. And let Scar sit down and read a book for a while. Just relax. And his casual attitude. But it makes Scar curious. After becoming a radiant knight, no one has ever dared to talk to themselves so casually. There was no clue to leave. He has now decided to chat with this young man. But when he sat down, the arm accidentally touched fairy tales that the fan read before. But in his eyes, fairy tales become full of weirdness. Son of the Abyss, the fan saw him staring at the book. Know the opportunity. Tell him, the funny stories in this book are very healing. You can buy a copy and go back and have a look. This sentence aroused his doubts. Whose fairy tale is called the Son of the Abyss? So he wanted to go out and satisfy his curiosity. But the moment he touched the book, he felt the familiar tingling and dizziness. The cursed sword within him, and it resonated with the book. But before he could figure it out, he just lay on the ground and passed out. This scared the fan a lot. This uncle didn't have a heart attack, did he? But when he ran over to take a closer look at the steady pulse, evenly breathing, this uncle actually fell asleep after reading the fairy tale book. The fan couldn't bear to see him sleeping on the ground. It took a long time to move him to the recliner. At this time, the fan saw that Knife Scar's arm was actually a machine. He decided this uncle must be a retired military officer. At the same time, a black cat walked in. I was horrified. Then he ran out in a panic. After finding a place with no one, the black cat took human form. It turns out that he is a radiant atmosphere. Is Scar's #1 fan to get close to idols. He followed Scar to the bookstore. However, after waiting for a long time, his idol came out. I want to go in and take a picture. But what he saw happened to be the scene where Scar fell. The scene where the fan drags him to the recliner. The current the fan is in his eyes. Like a murderous maniac in a rainy night. And the powerful radiant knight. So vulnerable in front of the fan. Frightened, he chose to run for his life. The fan's terrifying momentum just now make him feel like he's been through hell. But he calmed down very quickly. He's going back to tell what happened here. Tell Scar the tissue. And this time, Scar's consciousness has come to the depths of his soul, but this time he didn't feel it. The pain caused to him by the magic sword in the past, and then books began to appear, and it radiates magic. Next second, all this magic power poured into his mind. Just when he felt his head was about to explode, the magic sword appeared behind him. The magic of books. The magic released by the magic sword blends with each other. The swelling on Scar's head has disappeared. Then he woke up from the recliner. After seeing the fan, leisurely asked him if he is feeling better. Knife Scar, who had reacted, quickly got up. said, "Thank you. I was tortured just by sitting in the store." The fan said that all visitors are guests. It's all your own business. At this time, Dad Dao understood. No matter what kind of guest the owner of the bookstore in front of him is, will maintain a neutral attitude. This kind of person, it must be a god-level powerhouse who has lived for countless years, and they solved it so easily. The curse of the magic sword that has haunted me for years. Perhaps there is still an existence far beyond the gods. To know the first owner of this sword. But the most powerful man in history, he was in the Great War, unfortunately infected with the source of the plague. In order to prevent the plague from spreading to the world, he did not hesitate to commit suicide. But his tainted soul turned this sword into a magic sword. Thereafter, every owner of the magic sword will die of madness. Just the day before, Scar also feels that this day is coming. I didn't expect this book to appease Capricorn. However, the fan did not know about Knife Scar's psychological activities. At this moment, he just wants to recommend his book to others. He followed his usual practice. From the very first sight, I think this book is suitable for you. There are many people like you who are in pain. But it wasn't pain that defeated them, but the cowardly goodness in their hearts. As soon as this sentence comes out, Scar immediately thought of the first two masters of the devil world. Is it really wrong to insist on kindness? Then the fan said some mysterious words. These words just speak to the depths of Scar's heart, coax him into a daze. The fan at this time, in his eyes it is supreme. Knowledge and memory mature. The fan took out the library card without hesitation. Scar can't imagine signing it without it. Then he bowed deeply and left here. He is walking on the road. I just feel so full of energy now. It's like being reborn. At the same time, the old man on the other side, Wild, was studying Nirvana in a state of madness. The vastness of knowledge in the book and these weird runes make his whole brain tremble. It's a great show. Then he put on a mask and get ready to visit Grandpa again. By the way, give him a mysterious spree bag. And the black cat here. Tell Scar's slave what he saw. The apprentice made a mistake after listening. Pick up the phone now. Inform everyone in the organization to go to the rescue. But then Scar's phone also called. He told his apprentice, evacuate all detectives around the bookstore, and listed this as a classified area. The next day, he received 2 assisted initial training sessions. Strength has also been improved again. At this moment, he led his subordinates, finally found the location of the leader of the White Wolf, but they were stopped by a group of white wizards. I saw a big snake suddenly appear behind it, just as the serpent was about to swallow him. A huge wolf claw pierced the snake's mouth. In the next second, countless blood gushed out of the snake's body. A few giant wolves that had to transform tore the snake to shreds. The white wizards were astonished when they saw this. They couldn't believe it. Someone in this world can really control a herd. But they soon regained their composure, because as a beast, you must run. So they launched a fire attack on a few. Countless flames rushed towards him. The car didn't dare to move forward after seeing the flames. Then black smoke began to come out of him. After an explosion, the giant white wolf has turned into a giant gray wolf. Redstone in midair. A huge golden eyeball appeared. Inside the camera body, a steady stream of energy. The leader standing on the rooftop watching the battle saw this scene. Talk to the people next to you about this ability to control bestiality. Not even Oscar Wilde could do that. By the way, have you seen Wilde recently? I'm told he's been popping up at a bookstore a lot lately. The wizard next to him replied, no? Pass. When the leader heard this, he said to meet him. After all, he is your mentor. Just then, the leader's face suddenly changed. Abandon it and travel through space. Came behind him. Too late to react. He was thrown to the ground by Chicken Nobu. See this scene? He immediately asked the white wizard next to him for help. And the white wizard is just a simple spell. So he made Chicken Jigsu's body unable to move. The leader was released and took out a dagger. In times of crisis, all it takes is a shout of steel. The next second, the leader's arm was bitten off by him. At this moment, the white wizard next to him raised his magic staff, unleashed a huge energy pool in the air. After seeing abandoned Nosu, I know that I am definitely not a match for this person. If you continue to fight, there is only a dead end. So he used space travel again. Escaped from here. After he left, the leader said, I have been visiting that bookstore a lot recently. There must be some connection.